Hey everybody, it's Mark Breer here. We decided that we're going to start changing our format just because of some limitations that YouTube puts on some of our stuff where they're not allowing us to monetize our live videos and all that stuff. And we still want to, give these instructional videos and help people out and stuff like that. But it helps us to raise money for the society and all that stuff if we have these things monetized. So that's what we're going to do, right? Anyway, so I'm just gonna make this and then download it and then share it with people and people can watch it as they watch. I mean I never really did them as live videos anyway because they don't take that long and I'd never announced them. People just come on as they went. Usually it's like one or two people and everybody always watch them later anyway. So we're gonna change the platform on that and keep these discussions going. And one thing that I want to talk to everybody out about is the concept of Galdr, more specifically the Good Galdr, right? In the Good Galdr, verse 5, the Svipdag is standing in front of his mother's cairn and he's talking to her and he asks her to sing over him the Good Galdr, right? And asks her to give her bjarg. The word bjarg comes up a lot. We mentioned that word bjarg in the Ivan Runer book. Anybody out there hasn't gotten it, you should definitely get this book. We put a lot of research, a lot of work into it. But the word bjarg counteracts the nald. Nald is the calamities of the giants. It's the sufferings, the pains, the pestilence, the diseases, the hardship that we live in life. And the gods counteract that with bjarg, right? And so he is calling upon his mother, who is a goddess, Groa, and he asks her to give bjarg, right? And asks him to do so with Good Galdr, right? Now, what's interesting is that we also see this word bjarg in another in Fjolsvindsmal as well, where it's talking about, because Fjolsvindsmal is also another part of the Svipdagsmal, where they're talking about the goddesses or the Disir, who are goddesses in this sense, not the tutelary spirits, the lesser Norns. Actually, the word can also mean goddess and is used in the words for goddess, like the word Vanadis for Freya, right? Or Undurdis for Skadi, right? And so in this sense, it's actually meaning goddesses, and it says that if you bloat to these Disir, that they will give you their bjarg to counteract the nald, right? And so we definitely know that bjarg is a thing. Like that's an aspect of bloat. We're being told specifically that that's what bloat is for. Then we see in the sagas and in the lore, we see reasons and purposes for bloat. Like phrase bloat is for our Okfrid, or our good harvest and peace. Goa bloat is for victory for the king and peace. Sigurd bloat is for victory. Thor bloat is for growth or good crops for the year. Havel bloat is for healing. Disa bloat is for fertility. All these different things, right? And so those things that you're praying for. Those concepts are bjarg. You're praying for this. You're performing a bloat for this specific thing. Okay. Now the question that's interesting about it is that if bjarg is performed for bloat, right? And then we have another instance where we're asking a goddess for a Good Galdr in order to bring the bjarg, right? That makes it very interesting, because this also means that Galdr could be for that, like for that blessing, for that bjarg. And what I was thinking about today, I was talking to some people about this, and we know that in like Germania, chapter 3, there's talk of the Baratus or Bardatus, right, which is a shield song that they sang on the battlefield. And we believe that based on Havamal and the rune chants, I think it's 156, I could be wrong, in the Runetal, it says that Odin sings under the shields of his friends, right? But when he says he sings, it doesn't say sing, he says he galders under their shields, right? So he galders under their shields. They perform this shield song, the Bardatus, and they sing it in unison, and it creates courage. And they think that if they frighten their enemies with it, then that means that they'll win the battle. But if they themselves become frightened, that means they'll lose, right? It's like it's called Vigspa, which is battle prophecy. So if you have this concept that the God sings with you, right? That you're singing this chant, and Odin says, "I Galdr" under their shields, and we see in Germany that they're singing under their shields. That means that Odin joins the song. Now, what that means for us is that if that is the case, that could be the case in every instance, right? Yeah, we always, like, it's always an issue when people try to take things and isolate them and say, no, it's only for this. It only means this. It's like, why does it only mean for this? Like, this could be an aspect that would permeate through the whole religion. If they believe that this is somehow something that gives power to the Galdr, right? Or gives a presage for the Galdr, that it's going to tell you whether or not it's working, then it might be some sort of spiritual concept when you hit like certain notes, certain resonance, certain things in how you're singing, where you know the gods have joined you and they hear you and you feel it in the song, in the Galdr, right? And when you feel it in that Galdr, then it becomes something. It becomes something where you know, hey, they're here, they're with us. And so if the gods join the song, join the Galdr, then that means that we sing that Galdr in for those things, right? And I've said this before. I believe that Runatal, and I believe that Good Galdr, that these are poems that you sing these things, and they're prayers to those beings because they can give them to you. You know, you see the Runatal, like there's a lot of very elaborate things that can happen, you know, in there, like, you know, quieting the seas and stuff like that. And anybody's gonna sit there and wave their hand and pretend like they're quieting the seas. You know, it could be that the gods are doing that, you know, that you're praying for this, you're praying for help, you're praying for benefits, and it's like the gods are going to answer, they're not. They're going to join your Galdr or they're not. And that's that, right? And so this creates a whole new avenue for the concept of Galdr, because Galdr is a song that you're singing, but it's also a prayer that you gain power from, or you gain inspiration and strength from, when the gods join you in that prayer, right? When they join the song, when they sing under the shield, when they help you when you're, you know, in distress, when you're needing guidance, you're needing strength, you perform the Galdr, you sing the Galdr. And that's what blót is. Blót is a large Galdr. It's a large song that you're singing to the gods in hopes that they'll join you in the song. And so this verse in Good Galdr then becomes very significant for us. And so what we're doing is, you know, we're putting together Ivan Runer Book 2, and this book is going to allow us to sort of craft these prayers, and craft this Galdr, and craft these things that we're trying to put together, and you know, and try to understand how we can do this and how we can make this happen. But we want to do it solely from the sources. You know, so far I've been able to do this. So far I've been able to pull sources together and figure out how wording works, and come up with these things and have them there, you know, and I haven't had any problems with it. I do expect that I'm going to have some issues with some of the rites, like especially the rites of passage and stuff like that, but maybe not. I might be able to pull it off. So hopefully I will be able to do this, and we can put this Ivan Runer book together. Now, in these prayers that I'm doing, in this section of the book that I'm working on, is the Haita, right? And the Haita is the invocations of the gods. In the Gylfaginning, there's a mention of Njord, and in Njord it says that he is invoked for navigation and seafaring and stuff like that. And so the word used is Haita. Now, Haita is typically used just in naming. It says it's just the name of something. But here we actually see it specifically mentioned as part of an invocation, that he is invoked, he is called upon for this. All right, so we use that. You know, for this he shall be invoked and stuff like that. We use refrains in the poem, in the prayers and stuff, and that way we can just add descriptions of deities and then add that refrain to it, and that creates a methodology in order to rebuild this. All right, and we're going to take this verse from Good Galdr, and we're going to put it in that refrain, you know, and basically call the gods mothers and fathers to us, because they're mothers and fathers to us, you know. Even though in Svipdagsmal he's actually specifically talking to his mother, we're going to be speaking of it in more of a general sense of the divine beings being our mothers and fathers, right? So it's going to be really cool. I'm really excited about this. The prayers are coming together really well for this, so I'm really excited to be able to do this for everybody and put this material together, because I think it's going to be really beneficial, and it's really going to help us to move forward in what we're trying to create, and also give people content so that they can start putting this together for themselves. Because I'm telling you, it's time for us all to move past, you know, the books and pamphlets and stuff like that were written in the 70s. You know, I mean, it's not that I'm trying to knock on those things. I mean, they're great people put a lot of that stuff together, people that I really admire and respect. And when you know, we find new research, because at the end of the day, aren't we all trying to attach ourselves to the tradition of our ancestors? Like, isn't that what we're trying to do? You know, but it's like, are we trying to do that, or are we just trying to attach ourselves to books that were written in the 70s? You know, I just don't understand that. I'm like, because for me, I'm trying to live as closely to that ancestral tradition as I can get, without, you know, I'm not trying to become an anachronist. I'm not trying to live in the 10th century. I'm not going to go live in some fake Viking village or something, you know, or anything like that. I'm trying to understand theologically how these things work, how we can break them down, and how we can manifest them in the modern world. And that's important. All right. So just wanted to let everybody know that this work is progressing. Everything's going really well, and we'll keep on going. You know, I'm hoping to have this Ivan Runer book out, probably, I'm thinking beginning of next year. You know, it's just a few months away, so hopefully. All right, so everybody have a great night, and hail the gods.